Charlie.
What's up, Taylor?
Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way!
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast Kent Thomas Jones, Esquire of Cleveland,
Ohio.
Cleveland, Tennessee, you idiots. Good God.
Oh.
Anyway, Kent is the owner and managing partner of Jones & Associates PC. He deals with criminal law, divorce, workers' compensation, a whole bunch more. Well, Kent got himself into a little bit of trouble when he showed up to a hearing late. And if you know anything about court, showing up late is what they would call a judicial no-no. But he also reeked of alcohol and was, and I quote, acting erratically. In layman's terms, he was drunk. He was drunk enough that the guards actually had to kick him out of the courthouse and charge him with public intoxication. Now, look, this is not out of the realm of possibility. People have their issues. The reason that we're toasting him is because he showed up late, reeking of booze and acting erratically, but he was there to represent a client who was fighting a DUI charge.
Oh, man.
It did not go well. Yeah. So
They got to be buddies, right?
I don't think they are. I think this guy, so the general idea is this dude, the DUI suspect, dropped $2,000 to hire this guy Kent to be his lawyer, right? It should be a fairly easy thing for him to deal with. He shows up hammered. I'm not sure if his case got dismissed or if they just gave him another lawyer. But because of that, this lawyer that showed up drunk, Kent, now owed that guy the $2,000 back. And I guess the idea is you put it in a trust depending on whether you are found guilty or innocent. Well, he also took the money out of the trust, so the $2,000 wasn't there. And he was supposed to pay this guy back, and he's only paid $1,650. So his problems keep compiling, but it all comes down to one thing, the bottle.
Did it say what time the trial was?
It really doesn't. Why? How are you going to cut him some slack?
Well, if it was after lunch, then that's a little tough for lawyers.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, for your average lawyer.
I mean, lawyers are just kind of like, I would say like radio people, kind of a known group that enjoys a beverage.
He should have gone. He shouldn't have gone to disbar.
Well played.
Yeah.
He objected to being sober.
That's the name of the bar. Welcome to Disbar.
Oh.
So let's drink.
Man, the problem is, I would love to hear every story from every customer that came in.
That goes to Disbar?
Oh, yeah. Like, how'd you lose your license?
Yeah. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen Throwhill, could you please start everyone now? Profile This is played.
Thrill, I still love you, but I've never been a coworker of yours. Good God. I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Rachel. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello.
Hola. All right, Rachel, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. As always, you get one of 3 stories to choose from. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up inside of someone.
Well, I work in the magical world of gastroenterology, so let's go with interior decorating.
Okay. Please say that again. That's the hottest thing I've ever heard.
Is my colonoscopy going to hurt the next day, Rachel? Like I'm going to have some butt pain?
No.
It's going to be smooth? Everything's going to be easy? Will I be able to use the bathroom?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. That is good news. I was worried for Miles. All right, here is your story. We go to the fine country of Turkey, in this case, where a Turkish imam, and if you're wondering what that is the person that leads prayers at a mosque. All right. So a Turkish imam, he was suspended after pieces of something was found in his rectum after doctors examined for severe abdominal pain. The 39-year-old man, hailing from the central province that I can't pronounce, was admitted to the hospital last week after suffering from severe abdominal pain and bleeding. Now, according to the newspaper there, doctors removed pieces of the object from his rectum, with the official diagnosis recorded as, quote, bleeding in the anus and rectum and foreign object in the rectum. He was subsequently suspended following his discharge from the hospital as word of the, quote, bizarre mishap made its way to the local press. The imam was reportedly working for the local branch of the Religious Affairs Directorate, and as an investigation is underway regarding the situation. In the meantime, the Regional Chamber of Doctors, they criticize hospital officials for leaking the information about a patient, saying, look, just like here in the States, you get a little patient privacy. They say such rights violations may prevent people with various sexual practices, especially those who are public employees, from seeking medical assistance. In other words, doctors don't care. We're just trying to help people. But either way, it was reported to the press, and now he's out of work. The question is, what did he put into the old keister? Did they find pieces of a light bulb, a metal spring, a cucumber, or a sex toy? So a light bulb, a metal spring, a cucumber, or a sex toy?
Well, I'm thinking that only a complete idiot would put a light bulb in there.
Not a bright idea.
Yeah, not the best. And a spring would cause damage pretty much immediately, and it could break. And a cucumber would be soft, so I don't see how that would cause bleeding. So I gotta go with a sex toy.
Gonna go sex toy, huh? Well, you do know what you're talking about, Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay.
To a degree.
The only thing I'm guessing is it was in pieces.
Yeah,
so it must have been up there. Whatever
it
is was up there for a while.
And it caused bleeding, and it was in pieces.
It seems like cucumber would be the thing, other than a light bulb, that could break into pieces. But I think it's back to the fact that he was relieved from his position. So
I don't think he was released from his position because of what was there. It's that anything was there at all.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. Ted, you got a thought on this one?
I mean, I was thinking cucumber, but it's broken into pieces.
It's because I bought you pickles yesterday.
And I should eat one of those pickles.
I bought them for you, man. I'm not eating.
But cucumber breaking doesn't seem like it'd make you bleed. I feel like something has to have a sharp edge.
Yeah. I'm going to go light bulb.
You know what? You crazy SOP. I'm in.
You are?
Light bulb.
Okay.
So we got 2 light bulbs and 1 sex toy.
All right. Rachel, one more question. When I get my colonoscopy, do they video that thing going in there?
Yeah.
Can I get that and put it up on my Twitter feed after it's all said and done?
You know, it's possible.
That would be
You would
awesome.
have to ask the provider.
Okay. All right. Now I've got to go. Okay, and your final answer is going to be sex toy, right?
Gotta go. Think about it.
I don't like it because the sex toy shouldn't break, but that's the best one I got.
All right, Rachel. We're going to find out if this guy had a light bulb, a metal spring, a cucumber, or a sex toy in his backside next.
That was a tease.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba.
What happened, Buford?
That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop of Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All right. Profile this. We deal with the topic of interior decorating. We got a Turkish religious figure. He was admitted to the hospital after severe abdominal pain. He had to have something removed from his backside, whatever it was in pieces. He got all that out of there, but he was actually relieved from his position within the church.
Yes, that is correct, because the word got out and they're just not having that. But Rachel, we asked you, what is it that doctors removed from the backside that caused the internal bleeding? Was it a light bulb, a metal spring, a cucumber, or a sex toy? Someone pointed out, look, when it comes to a sex toy, remember, some of them are assembly required. So that's fair. Now, the Ted Smith and Miles Montgomery, you both agreed on light bulb.
Mm-hmm. Light bulb.
Miles, like you said, that's a bright idea. Oh, I'm sorry, it was not a light bulb.
Okay.
And Rachel, in the end, you decided to go with sex toy. It just makes the most sense. No. All right, now
Don't
listen.
say cucumber.
Don't say metal spring.
You work in the field, Rachel, so maybe you can work this out for us and let us know. But believe it or not, the thing that caused abdominal pain and led to internal bleeding, it was a cucumber.
A cucumber?
It was a cucumber.
Now, when it comes out, is it a pickle?
That was my thought.
That makes sense, though. That would be the easiest for a religious figure to have access to.
Yeah, I mean, you can always take a light bulb.
Did you buy the pickles for Ted yesterday?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I brought them in. I put them in because I knew you're doing your weigh in and all that. And I'm like,
See how it works, Miles? I eat your pickles, and he bought me more.
Did you have a pickle yet?
I have not.
Okay.
But now that I found out that was up the pre-sold, hey-oh.
Hey, look out, I want a pickle.
You know what, dude? Actually, I thought about that today, putting this together. I'm like, taking them on to eat those pickles.
You could, well, those are stackers, though. That's a no-go.
That's a different kind of pickle.
Yeah.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the men's room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, some choices for today. Of course, we have the legendary, he's always there, Jimmy Fallon. By the way, have you guys watched him now that he's back in the studio?
I have not.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth because Seth Meyers also on the list.
Okay.
Because I like Seth Meyers, but he's still at home. I can't decide which one seems more appropriate.
They're great back-to-back, though. I mean, it's a good combination.
We'll throw
late night.
Trevor Noah in there.
Oh, Trevor.
And then Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
Oh, yeah. These guys all have teams of professional writers that come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this a late-night joke, and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Perhaps change Steve's nickname from Thrill to Kill.
Steve the Kill Hill.
My God, man.
A lot of big news in college football. First, the Big Ten announced their schedule, and then UConn, University of Connecticut, became the first major college football program to cancel their season. So, sorry to all the UConn football fans.
Feet Ted Smith.
Yeah.
By the way, if they have a couple good years, don't hire their head coach. He'll run your program farther into the ground.
They've only been around for, 15 years maybe, as far as that level of a college program?
D1?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's been within our time out here, I believe. Because Connecticut's got a legendary basketball team. I just think that they really upped their football program at some point in time.
Yeah. Randy Edsall can. Yeah. All right. Kraft is replacing the word dinner with breakfast on its iconic blue mac and cheese box. Yeah. Now for breakfast. I'm excited about it because now I can stop melting Kraft singles on my Cheerios.
Fallon.
Seth Meyers.
That is Fallon.
Kraft is replacing the word dinner with breakfast on its iconic blue macaroni and cheese box. Yeah, new for breakfast, yeah. I'm excited about it because now I can finally stop melting Kraft singles on my Cheerios.
Is that like a joke or something?
No, it's like a big, I don't know who's going to give their kids Kraft macaroni. Well, I don't know who gives their kids mac and cheese for breakfast anyhow.
Right.
I mean, if you're a hungover dude, I get it.
Right.
But apparently, I don't know. It's pandemic. Who knows?
Just eat mac and cheese for breakfast is what they're saying.
I get, and it's not full time. They're just doing it as like a stunt.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I saw another stat that said like some percentage of parents are like, yeah, the hell with it. I'll make it for breakfast.
Yeah,
Have some breakfast, Mac.
Yeah. A guy in England ignored his wife and parked his car too close to the water at a beach, and his car wound up getting swept out by the tide, along with his sex life.
Me, Ted Smith.
Yeah, I'll go Ted.
Yeah, that was me. God, can you imagine how mad you'd be?
Man, right.
Just like, damn.
And just because she said not to, that makes it significantly worse.
Oh, it's much worse.
Because, see, if she wasn't there, you could lie.
Yeah, mistakes happen.
Right. But I told you not to do that. Her response to everything he says for about the next week is simply this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in 30 years from now, she'll be like, yeah, it's like when you park the car in the ocean.
It will never go away.
After Mississippi announced it will retire its flag because it featured a Confederate symbol, the state said yesterday it had received almost 3,000 proposals for the redesign, including some that featured Elvis Presley, Kermit the Frog, and beer cans. Added officials, plus some other ones, but those three were definitely the best.
Trevor Noah.
Seth Meyers.
After Mississippi announced it would retire its flag because it features a Confederate symbol, the state said yesterday it has received almost 3,000 proposals for the redesign, including some that featured Elvis Presley, Kermit the Frog, and beer cans, added officials, plus some other ones. But, those three were definitely the best.
Why Kermit? Like Kermit, his name's not Ted Danson. Tom Hansen.
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson.
Ted Danson.
He went to the University of Maryland.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we could put Kermit on our flag, but what's Mississippi doing with him?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Maybe it's just a crazy person in Mississippi.
I like Kermit, damn it.
Yeah, it's been bugging me all day.
He's right about that green ass. It ain't easy.
Okay, do you guys ever watch Vice, the network?
Every once in a while.
Yeah, I used to.
Okay. You know what? I'm with you. I really haven't watched it much since Jesus and Mero left.
Right.
But I watched the show last night. Well, first, they had a good drug show on that had me intrigued. Basically just about drugs in America. But then the next show was called How to Rob a Bank.
Okay.
Oh.
What does it say? Don't.
No, well, it's just funny,
Again, back to the Google thing. Don't do that. Don't Google that.
Yeah. I know. Seems like I'm getting into some weird stuff when I'm at home.
Yeah. How do I rob a bank?
But basically, the story I watched last night is the guy is Mr. All-American, right? He's in the Marine Corps, gets back home, he's doing, security work, this and that. His brother gets involved with the wrong people.
All right.
So that he basically takes on the debt and is like, all right, I don't want you to kill my brother, I'll pay for it. But he can't come up with the money for this debt. So he talks to, the gangsters, and they're like, rob a bank. And he kind of laughs it off, and the dude's like, we need our money once a week. Rob the bank.
How much money are we talking, or do you remember?
I think he owed 150 G's.
Oh, that's a lot.
Okay.
Right. So he starts robbing. Right. So he gets kind of wrapped up in it. Right. And, he's obviously, again, background in the military and stuff. He's been working security.
Sure.
So he understands a few things that, frankly, we wouldn't know. And he has some ideas. So he ends up robbing these banks. Right. And pays off the loan and stuff. The loan, Jesus, the debt.
The debt, yeah, at that point, it is a debt.
Mike, I'm telling you, you'd like the show just because it's so particular and this guy's so particular about it. But then it gets to a point that he's paid it off, and he's like, man, I kind of knew not being in combat, I missed that rush, but I didn't realize it until I was robbing banks. So then he just starts robbing banks. But he's, super good at it. And, I want to say he knocked off, over the time, 100 banks.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's going up and down the West Coast. He was up in Seattle robbing banks. And
cool. Thanks for coming.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get all your ATM fees back. I'm a Pied Piper of bank robbing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He got very lucky in certain ways that he was smart about everything. So when the cops finally do catch him, he doesn't have to go. Basically, they couldn't prove the gun was real. There was no real guns there. He still claims in the show it was a replica or a BB gun, that he never had a real firearm. So
fiddlesticks!
What, Wilbur?
We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com. This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
He never has, but he goes back to California and has to do like 7 to 8 years, which is still a long time to do in state prison. But it was just wild to see this dude, and he's just so calm about it when he's talking about it. And he's like, yeah, I missed the rush, so I decided to do this. And then he's like, so then I switched up how I was doing them, and I started getting bigger cash. And then he's like, I ruined my marriage because I was doing the LA thing, like I'm partying every night and this and that. I'm with you. I thought it was going to be just like a weird show where they were like, do this, do that. But it was very involved, and you learn the guy's life. I mean, it was wild.
Let me know when they have the episode of How to Rob a Bank Successfully.
Mm-hmm. Or How to Kill Your Coworkers.
Well, all right, so that is the thing. Is like most people, he basically was done, but he kept pushing up his limit.
All right.
So he was like, if I get X amount of money, I'll be done with this, right? So then he makes that amount of money.
So,
but he blows it.
No, not at all.
He just wanted the
rush
again.
Was just too much. And he kind of bumped the limit, said, all right, we'll make $2 more million. Somewhere between the goal and that last $2 million, just somebody random just tips him off and all this stuff.
Was $2 million his absolute ceiling, or he wanted to make $2 million
basically,
more?
he wanted to make $2 million more.
Jesus. How much did he make before he was finally busted?
He was at like 3.5.
Jesus. Yeah, it's getting greedy.
I mean, but also it's easy money.
Well, that was the issue. And by the end, it's getting to the point where the cops are showing up at the bank and he's still getting away. Right?
Damn.
Yeah. And I can't explain. I mean, it's just wild. Also, because again, the guy's whole life basically is like military, doing security. I'm going to go into law enforcement. And then he's like, now I'm robbing banks. So.
Know your enemy.
Yeah.
It's his brother's fault.
It is his brother's fault.
That's right. It's your brother's fault.
Also, I will say, if you have any issues with your father, don't watch this episode.
Oh, okay.
It's an hour of intense stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But, it's a whole series on there, How to Rob a Bank, on Vice, if you want to check that out. All right. What show haven't they brought back yet? Trying to think of a hint I could give you here.
I know which one this is.
Okay.
And Miggs and I were talking about it this morning, and he pointed out that some of the younger people on the morning show didn't even know the name. So we were saying, the Andy Griffith Show was on before any of us were born, but because of syndication, blah, 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 we're all familiar with it. Addams Family, Flintstones, right, all this kind of stuff. And he said, man, we brought up this particular show, and the only reference point for the younger folks was, talking about you, Sarah and Vicky, apparently was Family Guy. So he said when he explained what this show was, the light bulb in their head was, oh, yeah, man, that's what Family Guy is talking about. And then he rattled off a bunch of other shows that some younger people didn't know, but the connection was Family Guy.
That's a good call. So Who's the Boss is coming back. Mike, I was just talking to Mike the other day about a show that I was like, you'll get you haven't seen this movie, but you've seen
Big.
the Family Guy.
It was the movie Big.
It was the movie Big,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah, Family Guy does reference a lot of stuff.
What was the mom's name on the show? She's like the Lifetime queen.
Mona.
No, but
That was
her daughter.
Something
Judith Light.
Judith
Light.
Light.
Judith Light.
Well, all right.
That's right.
Judith Light is the actual person. The
Yes.
character's name was
I
Angela.
just called her Judith Lightfoot. I'm thinking of Gordon Lightfoot. Jesus.
That's all right.
That's all right, man.
So Ted Danson, Tony Danza, and Alyssa Milano, they're developing a new Who's the Boss sequel where they'll reprise the roles as Tony and Samantha. Italian name. Remember, they move into the house because he's basically the housekeeper for the house.
So she was his daughter.
Correct.
Okay, and then the woman, Judith Light, she
Angela,
had a kid.
Right, and Jonathan, Danny Petruto, right, they're invited back as well, but their status is unclear. Entertainment Weekly says they turned it down. Deadline.com says they're supportive of the idea. And they hope the show finds a creative way to work them in and their characters in. So maybe they just want to do a few cameos.
Okay.
Who knows? Mona, who was like the
grandmother,
right? Who was also a very funny character.
She always played
different shows.
She always played the sexually
correct
kind of joking woman on Soap or on whatever show it was. She was always like the one who was more of a open to talk about what she enjoyed.
She obviously won't be back because she passed away last year.
And people will accuse me of killing her. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. The original show ran from 1984 to 1992, which explains why the younger people and BJ Miggs would not get that. I mean, who's the boss? Like, people reference it and stuff. That one kind of shocked me. I don't know.
There was no catchphrase. There was no anything. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a show.
There was no whoa, any of that crap.
Right.
No real consistent plot line. It was just about Tony Danza. Which is basically every show that Tony Danza's ever been on, with the exception of Taxi.
Has he ever played a role where his name is not Tony? And I'm asking.
I don't think he could turn around and act if it was. Like if you called him Bobby, he wouldn't know his lines were up.
Like just call him Tony. Jesus Christ,
too easy.
Hey, look, I'm with you, but I don't. Here's the other thing: there aren't any details on a plot, a network, or a timetable for the show.
It's just something they want to do.
I want to do the show. Somebody will pick it up.
Well, that's what's funny. Alyssa Milano's been talking about it for a while, but Tony Danza last year was like, no. First of all, I've never been a big fan of these reboots. You can't reboot the show because Catherine Mona is not there.
Sure.
So that's it. So I think it's just kind of one of those things where I kind of respect it. He's like, no, man, like we did the show, let it
move
be.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. But in these times, who knows? I will say this: it always does amaze me, and it feels like the last 5 years it's gotten worse. It's just like
the explosion of reboots with original cast and all that.
Right. And just, I don't know.
Because that should play into our world as far as something we'd want to watch, but we don't want to watch it. So
Yes,
like
the
younger generation doesn't care and doesn't know. We're the generation who watched it and doesn't care. Then what generation do they think this is appealing to?
Because I think Alyssa Milano is still super hot.
She is.
Sure. I mean, I'm just saying, at some point, it's just like, I guess there's enough networks now where you can keep doing that stuff. I mean, I think generally, like, I feel some of this stuff ends up on networks because it's safer, but this is like a sequel to it. I'm with you, Miles. I mean, even the shows we talk about in here, right? Like, I think everybody in here, like Stranger Things or Ozark or a lot of newer original content.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
But 25 years from now, if they reboot Stranger Things, and all these kids are like grown-ass men and women, if we're not interested, I don't know that anybody is.
Yeah. I think it's just, playing the quote unquote safer bet.
You're right.
I'll tell you what's not safe: being horny. Big Brothers, they're making changes. The new Big Brothers All-Star from here.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
So here's all you need to know.
That is one Big Brother.
Dude, I thought about that earlier today. Big Brother All-Stars.
It's just Shaq. And
I was stunned when I took like, what the hell is this?
The old category, Bill Russell comes back.
Right. Terry Crews.
Sure.
Right. Basically, here's the thing. Julie Chen won't be there. The groceries will be disinfected, but they could still have sex.
Oh. So Sean Kemp should show up. Big Brother.
Big Brother still be the sex-crazed show you want it to be. So check it out.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A new survey says that hungry men, they like big boobs and they cannot lie. Meanwhile, a Michigan morgue is investigated after a penis cake shoots icing in someone's eye. New Mexico is apparently shocked that their medical dispensaries are selling so much weed. A tall leprechaun looting cars is what the residents of Buffalo, New York did not need. And a reporter in Australia accidentally says F my life on air. People agree, and it's time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines.
Here's my cop.
Our top story, we go to New York, where a mythical creature, whoopsie daisy, was seen looting cars. Police received a report that a red-haired man wearing a green shirt and plaid pants was seen breaking into multiple cars in a parking lot and taking some goods. Didn't take long for police to zero in on the leprechaun, and they arrested him.
And by the way, kids, if you're listening, it's the Lucky Charms leprechaun.
Right. Is his name actually Lucky? Is that right?
Is it? Does he ever say his name?
I feel like that might actually be his name, just Lucky.
It doesn't sound very Irish to me.
No, not really.
I think it's Seamus.
Anyway, he didn't get away with much. I think all he had on him was somebody else's debit card.
But if you're a redhead in a green shirt and plaid pants, just don't rob things.
Right.
You're real easy to pick out.
Dude, Lucky the leprechaun.
It is Lucky.
Yeah.
Not Seamus.
Guy's 5'11". What kind of leprechaun is he?
A huge one.
Speaking of pots of gold, we go to New Mexico, where a certain industry has seen a spike. During a rise of COVID-19, the state has seen a massive increase in the medical marijuana industry. In the last 6 months, the 34 licensed vendors in the state totaled $92 million in sales, a 55% increase from this time last year.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, people are playing video games, you're at home watching TV, you're going to binge a Netflix series,
Right.
This is the time, man.
I have stress.
Hell, maybe that's why Kraft is like breakfast macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, whereas all these sober people making sourdough?
Right.
Let's try baking.
Yeah, I mean, at least right now it's the summertime. People go outside. I mean, you get to the fall, it's going to be chilly again, like, hammer the weed.
There it is. While we're on the subject of the munchies, here's our next story. It's actually a study that is conducted at the University of Westminster over in London about the hunger levels of men and the relation to their breast preference.
All right.
Yeah, you ready for this? What they've discovered is that the hungrier men tend to like larger breasts on women.
I mean, I know a lot of hungry dudes.
Me too. I'm a hungry man.
Hey,
we get a TV dinner tonight.
Maybe that's a Hunger Man dinner just now offer. Chicken breast.
I don't know if there's really that much correlation.
I don't believe there is.
You know who else likes big boobs?
Ted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And I just ate. I mean,
seriously, I'm not even hungry right now, but still.
Does it matter what time of day it is? If I've just eaten lunch, I'm not going to like boobs now?
I don't think it means actively hungry. I think it means how often you're hungry.
Ah, okay.
So if you're a guy that eats more during the day, you're a hungrier guy. So
you know what, Mike? Sometimes I'm not hungry. I just like to eat.
I'm with you.
And sometimes I just like boobs, not because I'm hungry.
Look, this is what Lou Williams was talking about. My man was hungry for delicious chicken wings, and he went to a strip club because they have great
Bam!
wings.
Yep, you nailed it. I'm hungry. Let's get food at the strip club.
That's brilliant.
It is, man. Say it was 5:30 p.m. Come on.
Right. Sticking with food, we take to Twitter, where someone decided to share a story ad posted by the Eggo Company. The story is merely a photo with the perfect summertime snack, the s'more, with the incorporation of delicious Eggo waffles instead of graham crackers. Let's see, but what made the Twitter user feel the need to post the image was the name of the new treat, which they have dubbed, are you ready for this?
You should say it in the Sean Connery voice.
The Schmeggo.
The Schmeggo.
I'm like,
dude, you got a little Schmeggo on your chin.
Were you eating Schmeggos this morning?
What's that? Is that marshmallow? From my Schmeggo.
I mean, I can't even imagine giving that to my kids. Like, look, I know you want to eat it, but just in general principle, no.
Right.
I can't, in good conscience, give you that.
I'm not going to be woken up at 7 o'clock in the morning to you asking me, Daddy, can I have a Schmeggo?
Right. Like, no. You've made me uncomfortable. Get out of my room.
On the topic of bad edits, we go to Melbourne, Australia, where a news anchor's in hot water after the wrong clip played. It's no surprise to people that some on-the-scene reports in the news are pre-recorded, edited, and the final product is aired. Well, one anchor submitted the wrong take in the evening news, and we got this lovely clip right here.
Another man was intercepted 250 kilometres from his Apollo Bay home in the Macedon Ranges. He told officers he was on his way to my life.
I mean, just F my life.
I did manage to put the edit in there, but yes, F my life was exactly what she said there.
It is interesting to hear something you've edited now. So earlier I was walking by and I just kept hearing that horn.
Oh, so now you know what it's for.
I was like, what the hell is he doing in there?
Well, he's a part-time clown.
Seriously, I was like, is he just messing with somebody?
That's what I'm doing, man. Getting that horn going. That, honestly, in the position that I'm in, that scene terrifies me. Because we've pre-recorded some things for this show. Obviously, we've had segments that we play like for the end of the year.
Sure.
All those, of course, are pre-recorded. Man, I don't ever want to leave anything in there.
There's always the dread, because you've done your due diligence, but in the moment you're playing it for real, like, did I do my due diligence?
Right.
What about dropping F-bomb and sit in the boss's office for the next 45 minutes?
Well, that's kind of on the producer. She did like 2 or 3 takes, and the first one she messed up.
Exactly.
And they played the first one instead of the second or third that she got right.
And I like how the story actually said that, the news anchor accidentally let this word slip.
Sure.
No, they accidentally let the wrong clip slip. She didn't accidentally say that word.
Right.
She just blurted it right out with no remorse whatsoever.
But I like that she got support from the viewers.
You bet.
Yeah, man, because, it looks bad. Absolutely. F your life. It's not what you want to hear.
Works
but
hard on everybody. Yeah. A miner in Tanzania, known for making a $3.4 million sale of Tanzanite earlier this year, has just made headlines again for a similar sale. The man has just sold another chunk of the high-demand gem, raking in $2 million for it.
Damn.
The gem is in high demand due to its brilliant coloring and the fact that geologists say that it will be gone in a matter of years. And I'm pretty sure it only comes from Tanzania.
That would explain the name.
Correct.
Tanzanite, right?
Tanzanite.
What does it even look like?
If I'm not mistaken, it comes in different colors. I think one of the primary ones is purple.
Tanzanite.
But I know that
Should
that
be
was
tan.
It was kind of see it is a purple gem, and it's kind of the new hotness right now.
That is a good looking gem there.
Right, it's a good deep rich purple. So you know how purple people are. Everything needs to be purple. And this is purple people. Anybody ever known of purple people?
Yeah, on our old building, there was this woman who looked like George Washington, and I'm not kidding. Like, picture George Washington, that's what she looked like, except make George Washington bitter and have a disgusting voice. But this woman wore all purple every single day.
Mike, for like 5 years, up on Green Lake on Aurora, right across from Bet's Cafe.
Okay.
There's a soccer bar up there that people frequent, and then up the road, just like a half block, was the Purple store.
Oh, God, that's right, yeah.
And everything in there was purple, and I have a feeling that woman owned that place.
She may have been.
Everything was purple. It's like Prince's store.
That is it for headlines with that. Mike, hawk us out.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the head chef, Ted's Meat and Potatoes, all about the onion rings, and Big Dummy is back, bitches.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, we be all up out this biatch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.